Welcome. You're listening to Behind the Home Build, a podcast dedicated to all things home building. Whether you're a home builder, home buyer, or something in between, we're here to connect you with the industry experts. My name is Danny Langerman, CEO and Mortgage Loan Originator. With me is my son Riley Langerman, Mortgage Loan Originator. Welcome to Behind the Home Build. My name's Danny Langerman. I'm the CEO of a local mortgage company here in Denver, Colorado, and I'll be hosting the podcast along with my co-host, Riley Langerman, who is a mortgage loan originator.
Howdy.
And our fill-in co-host at times when one of us aren't available or possible guests is the CFO and Jennifer Langerman.
Hello.
And also with us is our other son, who will be the production manager and the producer of the podcast, Hunter Langerman. This is actually our episode 0. It's with the entire family.
Well, not the entire family.
Well, not the entire. We're missing
Yep.
our youngest.
Shout out Brady.
Shout out to Brady is right. So Behind the Home Build came about because Riley started off graduating from college from the University of Indiana, joined our team, got licensed as a mortgage loan originator, and had a recommendation of we should start a podcast. That was kind of the start of it. And it was, okay, what are we going to do this podcast about? What need can we fill? And so started to think about it, started to put some ideas together. And one of the needs that we thought, or in my opinion, that we could fill is we are members of the Home Builders Association, which is the HBA.
Here in Denver.
Here in Denver. Denver Home Builders Association, correct. And so one of the, I would say, gaps that could be filled within the Home Builders Association is there's two types of members in the Denver HBA. One are the builders, the builder membership, and then you have the affiliated membership or the affiliates. And there is the affiliates and the builders, there's definitely a little bit of a disconnect on what the affiliates do for builders, or there's a disconnect on what the builders are currently doing and what they're doing around the area. And so our goal was to, you know what, why don't we put together a medium that will bring these two groups together, put in more information or give them each more information to where we could also share it and it could benefit not only the builders and the affiliated members, for example, like title, plumbing, drywall, all sorts of stuff. Bring all that together and all that information together, and it would also benefit the general public as well.
If you're not an HBA member.
If you're not an HBA member. So if you're someone who wants to build a property, how do you go about doing something like that? Or if you need something within your home to be fixed, where's a good place to go do something like that? I mean, we get these
Because
questions.
those are the affiliates you're talking about when it comes to
That's
the members
correct.
of the HBA.
That's correct. And even with our end and stuff, there's certain, we do, construction loans or rehab loans, and there are different types of investors out there that we can also bring to the forefront. So we can bring mortgage companies in, we can bring realtors in, obviously builders.
There's gaps there.
Unlimited.
There's voids there that can be filled by this, I feel like.
So why a podcast?
The podcast, so this is where you got us kind of into the podcasting, and we started to listening more to podcasts and seeing where there was a little bit of a void there to be able to get out as much information as possible and to reach as big of an audience as possible. And we felt, you know what, why don't we invest in the podcast? The one thing that we were missing of was we weren't sure, or, Riley's probably more sure than what we were, but as far as, okay, who's going to help us produce it? So who's going to help us cut it?
It's overwhelming to the people of our generation
Yes.
that haven't really, we dabble in it, we listen to it, but it really took, I think, the inspiration of the youth coming into this that,
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
It
and
did.
we consume it, so why can't we provide it? Why
Yeah.
can't we produce it?
I appreciate the credit for the podcast, but I think my main push was just in general to utilize the online resources that we have, that our generation has used and succeeded in reaching broader audiences than people ever thought before.
Right.
So
Exactly.
just being able to use technology. And even like us, we're new to it, but we have a certain kind of inclination to it because we've had it since we were super small. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's cool that you kind of took that push from me and said, "Okay, let's do a podcast."
Well, absolutely. I mean, but again, one of the things that we were missing was this production side. Well, our middle son, Hunter, who graduated from CSU, Colorado State University,
Shout out Hunter.
that's right, with a marketing degree, has become our production manager. And the second point of doing something like this is it, one thing to bring kind of to the forefront here is we've already shot a couple of episodes, which has been great. So we have some that we're going to release shortly. But the one thing that's just been awesome, and your mom and I have talked about this, is just you two are both amazing, unbelievable. We're so proud of you guys. You're not sitting around and waiting for things to happen to you guys. I mean, Riley, you got 2 jobs. You work as a baseball coach. You studied for your mortgage loan originator's license. You passed it on the first time, having no idea on what to do.
Like in record time.
Crazy.
Like seeing all the people that have worked for us over the years and gone through that.
And failed multiple times.
Yeah.
Multiple. And they'd been in the industry for 10 or 15 years.
Blew us away, really.
Thank you.
You're driven. And then Hunter, you've got an internship. You travel down to the Springs. You are an incredibly hard worker as well. And not only that, when I get texts in the middle of the night saying, "Hey, I need you to do this," or "How do you like this?" or
Texting me at like 6:15 a.m. the other day, and I was like, I haven't had my coffee yet, and you're demanding a description for our Instagram.
You two have impressed us so much on what you've already done. And I think it's, for me and for your mom, it's a direction, and it's going to be fun to see where you guys take this as well. We are looking forward to seeing where this takes you guys. I think you guys are going to be part of this generation that's coming up. I think there's going to be part of your generations that is going to sit around and wait for things to happen. And there's going to be part of the generation that is going to make things happen. And I think we're proud of you guys to where you guys are making things happen. You guys are going to be a role model for, I think, a lot of people within our area, our community, and they're going to be able to learn a lot from you guys and what you guys do.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Dad.
Yeah. I guess one of the things that I'd like to know, I mean, with what we're doing, and start off with you, Riley, what is it that you want to see, or what is it that you want to get out of Behind the Home Build, our podcast?
As you mentioned, recently licensed LO. And so as I consider myself kind of a young professional in the industry, I think it fits really well with who I am, and I really, really want to use this platform to not only learn from the guests that we have on, but mainly to help others that are a part of my generation that are not focused on building or buying a home. We talked about the disconnect of our generations already. Primarily, what I want to do is use our platform to help connect and learn from the experts that we're going to have on as guests from the entirety of the home building community, so that a super complicated process can be dimmed down and created, and the message can be more simple. It can be clear for anybody in the industry, whether you are a veteran or you are looking to buy your first home. So I think, to me, reaching a really broad audience, being able to learn myself from the people around, and then also be able to contribute to our audience that we hopefully will build, and help them learn about the process of buying a home and building a home.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
I love it.
Yep.
I love it.
Jen, what is it that you want to get out of this podcast?
And I think we all have the common goal. Definitely, I love what Riley just said about his generation being in the HBA and being in the industry. I love that there's all these things that connect us, and we can be a part of associations, and we can go to events, and we can network. That's a part of it, and that's a part that will never be replaced, and you don't want to, but this is just expanding it and letting people connect, listen, get educated, share insights with just a huge audience and grow that audience, basically. That's what I hope for it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So we have shot a couple of episodes already, getting ready to release those. And I'm excited to release them because I think they are going to be full of information, full of great material to get out and to educate the people that want to learn about
I
this.
think emphasizing too just the experience in general that we're going to have on, you
Yep.
know, the actual experience in the building industry.
We're excited to bring the podcasts to the home building community, and feel free
And
to
beyond.
and beyond. That's true. If you do have any questions, comments, feel free to let us know.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Behind the Home Build. It's a podcast for all things home building. He's Danny and I'm Riley, and if you're interested in learning more from experts in the home building community, we're on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast, and a few others, all at Behind the Home Build Podcast. And if you have any questions at all, make sure to send them our way on Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook at Behind the Home Build Podcast.